90% of our life is problem solving. It's very easy for us to get frustrated, and it's not good. Everybody lives one life. Life's so short. Why do people have to be frustrated?
The following mini message is an excerpt from James McPartland's TV show Unopened Gifts, aired on HaveItTV.com.
One of the gifts we all possess is the power of interpretation, to apply meaning and data to the events of our life. What John Wen teaches us is the importance of the power of interpretation. John has a skill of many to ask, what's good about this? As he continues to discuss in his life the setbacks and the obstacles one has to overcome as part of the game of life, that one question, what's good about this, got him through his blindness, had him build this amazing company, create a beautiful family, and he today is probably one of the men with the greatest vision of almost anybody I've ever met in my life. So of the many things I've learned from John, and that I hope you learn from this episode, is the power of questions. John has two that have served him well, that I'm certainly learning from, and I hope you take away with you. A question. When something happens that we're probably automatically going to assume is negative or has less than positive implications, to stop, not to give a judgment, and ask the question, what's good about this? The second question that he's instilled in me, and I see in him, is when an event happens with the power of interpretation, he asks and teaches, and I certainly absorb, how do I use this as a force for good in my life? One of the great things about John is he's not looking for answers. Many of us go through life looking for the answers. What he teaches is the power of an inspiring question. That's one of the great gifts.
I lost my sight, yes. Thinking about when my sight was gradually going away. It was the hell, thinking about it. When the hemorrhage was coming out in the back of the eye, thinking about becoming blind. What is it? I could never imagine. No. Well, what could I do? How can I live? I'm going to lose my girlfriend. Or, I'm going to lose my life. Well, it was terrible. But, the moment I set my thinking, from that moment on, I felt a lot more, comfortable about myself and happier and happier. I'm still luckier than, people who lost their legs, people who lost their mind, so they are always worse thing than what I have. So I should be happy. Why should I feel terrible? I still have my mind, the pain doesn't bother me. When a bad thing happens, and, there's always a positive side of it. So, people forget about the positive side of it. So people don't see loss as an opportunity. That's, I think, that's very natural psychology of human being. So I think in my case, I just see, it's easy to say loss is an opportunity. How? I keep saying how, I keep saying what can be done, and yes, there's always light. To go through the bad experience, and then it comes out great. So I think again that it's positive thinking really helps big time. 90% of our life is problem solving. So if we're not positive, and it's very easy for us to get frustrated, and it's not good. Everybody lives one life. Life's so short. Why do people have to be frustrated?
So John has given us amazing gifts. He's certainly given me tremendous gifts. That's why we're on this program, to give those gifts to you. Of the things I'd like you to take from these segments thus far is the gift of choice. We all have choice. When something happens, it can be a setback or it can be an opportunity. And that's a choice. You can see from John, he's taken his decisions, made choices around opportunities. Second, what I've learned from John is the power of lessons. Setbacks are tremendous teachers if we allow them to be. We don't learn from success, we often learn from failure. What John says is when things get tough, when he lost his sight, when he's gone through challenges of building his business, He asked himself, what's the lesson I'm supposed to learn? It takes amazing discipline and courage. He also has the power to ask himself and other people, when an event happens that's likely negative or disempowering or doesn't appear to be a gift, how could it be transformative in your life and in the life of others? What's the possibility? What could be new on the horizon? It's amazing he has the ability and the strength to see that way when most of us, losing a sight or something that we cherish, would likely shut down. I struggle to say, how could I handle it? I gain strength from his vision. The man without sight provides me vision. And finally, he reinforces time and time again the domain with which we have control, that we can change the screen on at any time, is how we think. Because how we think is everything. How we think leads to the actions, lead to the results in our life. What John does is he masters the art of thought. He has disciplined thought, which leads to congruent actions to get him the results he's looking for. And if he's not getting the results he wants, he goes back to the thought bucket to focus on that. Take these gifts and use them. They're the greatest things that have ever served me.